Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Screen. I'm Andrew, and this is Chris.
Well, hello there.
George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, said that if he had been making episodes 7 through 9, he had plans to make the midi-chlorian world.
Yes.
Sort of the center of the trilogy, and I really want to see this trilogy.
I need to know.
I feel like the world was robbed of thousands of memes because he didn't make this trilogy.
Like, it's not just that he wanted to do it, it's that he considers it to be like the capper to the Skywalker saga.
As if it was like, I wonder what's going on in Luke's butt.
Yeah.
You know? like, come on. Well, if you may have guessed, today we're going to try to figure out what is going on in Luke's butt.
We want to know exactly what the Whills would have been doing inside.
Whills. So
that Skywalker butt.
Yeah, so the Whills are the focus today. This is Star Wars Episode 7 through 9. Maybe we'll do all 3?
Maybe it would be fun if this trilogy takes place over the course of the previous 6 movies.
Ooh.
It's like a long saga we're learning
It's
about.
like Back to the Future 2.
Yeah. Because...
Okay.
Like, I'm thinking it opens up, we're looking at a little kid.
Yeah.
We're looking at Anakin, and it doesn't stop zooming, it just keeps going.
Yeah. It's gonna be sort of like, what is it, Mario and Luigi, the Inside Bowser story?
Oh, yeah, Mario and Luigi's Inside Story.
Yeah. So,
I was thinking Osmosis Jones, but I like that.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm thinking Osmosis Jones too, but I'm just saying, it's I like the idea of like the Osmosis Jones idea, like if we keep cutting back and forth, but like instead of Bill Murray, we're seeing like scenes from movies we've seen.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
So in the Star Wars franchise, you have scenes where it's like, all right, we got to go to planet blah, and that's important. We can't go to other planets because
unless the host goes.
That's the thing. When they fly, when our midichlorian heroes and villains are traversing to different locations, they're literally going between other people.
I mean, there's not a lot of ways you could do that and keep the movie PG.
That's kind of true.
I feel like the midichlorian that lives in Anakin has to travel via, like, biology, create Luke, and then his story continues in Luke.
That's a good point. I like that. It's
or like Luke. Like
he's the Luke Skywalker. He's the Skywalker midichlorian.
There's 2, and one of them goes into Leia. And maybe those
they miss each other.
They miss each other.
So that's why they have to have that kiss.
And then they come back together in that one kiss, and then they're like, okay, now that we've done that gross thing,
we did what we had to do.
Like to us, we watch like Empire Strikes Back, and we're like, ew. But to those midichlorians, that's like a huge plot point.
Oh yeah, it's a massive moment for them.
It's like, hey, I haven't seen you in 3 movies. What's the main conflict? It's it's like Inside Out is what we're doing.
A little bit.
It's like Inside Out and Osmosis Jones. I don't feel like it's so much Osmosis Jones in that, like, is there a disease they're fighting off in this?
See, one of the things we need to answer is, throughout the franchise, we've learned that there's the good people and the bad people, but the Force is just supposed to be neutral. So,
right, yeah.
Are the Whills all just kind of going about their lives, or are there good Whills and bad Whills? Because if there are bad Whills, then we have like Sith Whills.
Yeah.
Or are they just doing things that just happen to give good people powers and bad people powers? It's a weird question we need to answer. The other important question is, are we going to go inside Jar Jar Binks and reveal that he is in fact a Sith Lord? Because I've always been a huge fan of that fan theory.
I think that's a good idea. I think like the purpose of this Will trilogy, or Whillogy, if you will, if you will
with us.
The point is to go back and kind of fix all the mistakes, and one of the mistakes is, of course, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh yes.
And in order to fix him, we turn him into this badass Sith Lord that's kind of playing everyone. And then, I guess like Like, does he become Snoke? Is 7, 8, and 9 like in our timeline? Is that still canon, or does this retcon that?
That's a good question, because originally this was going to be in place of. But
you know what?
We live in a world where these exist.
I say Disney, let George have a trilogy.
Yeah.
Like,
you're giving a whole trilogy to the Game of Thrones people. Yeah. You could give one to George.
Yeah, be like, all right, George, compromise. It's not 7, 8, and 9. We did that already. But you get the Will trilogy, the Whillogy.
You get the Whillogy.
And you get to do whatever stupid thing you want, and people will see it. I know I'd see it.
I would 1,000,000% see this movie.
I have to see this movie. Like, I have to see 3 of these movies.
I need a full trilogy.
Like, I want to see the character designs.
I want him to scribble on a napkin what he thinks this would have looked like.
Yeah.
Because I could not tell you what this was going to look like.
Like, the thing is, we let him make the prequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened. We can't undo that. So
that's forever.
Why can't he just finish the job? Like, let him finish the job, Disney.
Yeah, come on, Disney. I need to see what his weird little microscopic people would be doing.
What if this hero or heroes, the hero wills, are like what impregnates Shmai Skywalker?
Ooh.
Like we start before, like it's all the way back, like like the Immaculate Conception somehow or whatever.
Maybe it's about them trying to balance the Force. Like, the Wills understand that they're like a small thing in a bigger world, and they're trying to balance it all out. Because they're not good, they're not evil, they're just a force of nature.
What's like an easy like what do these things do all like
what are they doing inside people?
Is it like the body's like a city?
I was definitely picturing, because it'd be boring if they're just floating in a bunch of goo.
Yeah, right?
So again, pulling from Osmosis Jones, I like the idea that we're inside like a society. It just happens to be inside another person. I think that's good because, we don't know what, like, we call you call them humans, but they're not like Earth humans. They're like space humans. Yeah, they're basic speaking space people. Like, we don't know what's inside of them. Maybe they all have cities inside of them. Yeah. What if time takes place like slower for these guys? And the trilogy is 3 key moments in all of the movies, in all of the 6 original movies. Okay. So, like, for example, maybe the second movie is trying to keep Anakin alive, like he's like after like he got burnt up in the battle. Oh yeah, the whole movie is him like being rebuilt as Darth Vader. I like that. Like, it's it could to steal genres. Like, each of these could be a different genre. That could be the disaster one. Okay. Like, Ronald Emmerich could direct this one. Yeah. It's just about trying to like keep everything going and saving everybody. We don't have to necessarily spend the entire movie on one key moment, but I think the idea of like something that takes less time for us, that was kind of glossed over in the movie, takes like either the whole movie or like half the movie. I like that. But another good moment would be each character's a movie. Each character. Each Skywalker. Each Skywalker's a movie. Maybe Leia's first, because she was first anyway. She was the first character you meet, really. That's true. I mean, we could see some stuff happen in Alderaan, like, when she's younger. We never really get to see that. That's true. Like, she's glossed over a lot in these movies. Like, the newer ones, she gets to be a general, but even then, like, she doesn't have major scenes or, like, big decision-making moments. She's always just kind of around. Whereas we put this on Alderaan, we could definitely see her being an important figure. Like she's... Or it could be the Rogue One scene where she's running away with the plans. Maybe, yeah. So, like, it spans kind of like a lot of her life, but we see like key moments, sort of like I don't know, what was it? It was the Steve Jobs movie, but not the first one, the second one. Oh yeah. Where it was like, it was 3 parts, and the first one was like the Apple II, and then the other one was like the iPod, and then it was the iPhone. And like the whole movie took place over 3 periods. So like maybe each movie is about one of the Skywalkers, and there's like 3 pivotal moments that define their character in each movie. Then we go to Vader, because like the middle's always the dark one, and then like the last one is the Luke story.
And we see like 3 pivotal moments, for each of them.
Just need to figure out what the Wills are doing in all this.
Yeah, that's the thing. What are they doing? That's the problem. That is the problem, George.
Like, are they aware of what's going on outside and they are trying to, like, do something? Or are they just going about their lives?
Don't know.
We have nothing to draw on. Like, literally nothing to draw on.
What was he thinking? I want to know what he was thinking. That's not rhetorical.
So maybe it's kind of an Exodus story to begin with.
Okay. Where are they exodusing from?
I think they're heading to Anakin. Like this Force-sensitive super baby.
Yeah.
That was an immaculate birth.
Right.
I don't know where they're coming from.
The immaculate birth has to be the focus of a lot of, like, at least the first big chunk of the second movie.
Yeah.
If like, there's the power of myth and religion, religious texts, whatever. If the immaculate birth happens, then and the Wills cause that to happen. It seems like Wills are sort of the stand-in for like a god of the universe. So they're sort of like an interesting sort of inverted god, where it's not like this big, omnipotent, omniscient thing.
Yeah, it's a microscopic.
It's very, very small, but they're still kind of everywhere. I'm really trying to dig out a movie out of this.
Finding a plot is impossible right now.
It's really hard to find a plot. Like, Osmosis Jones was about, like, curing a disease instead of Bill Murray.
Yeah, it was a white blood cell and a medicine tablet working together to save Bill Murray.
And Inside Out is about, like, a girl who's, like, sad and needs to sort out her feelings and stuff, and, like, that makes sense. There's, like, a whole story there.
No, there's nothing here.
How could this possibly wrap everything up?
I don't know. Without George telling us, we'll never fucking know.
Can Force ghosts shrink?
Ooh.
And does that mean Qui-Gon Jinn is the main character?
You see, now we're working with something.
See, there we go. Also, if this takes place over many years, Obi-Wan Kenobi's in there, put Yoda in there, all the Force ghosts can be in this. It's a Force ghost movie.
Maybe that's what the midichlorians are, is just Jedi and Sith after they're dead.
Oh, what? So, we're thinking Osmosis Jones, but what if these little guys are very small?
Go on.
They're so small that, like, atoms are planets.
Ooh.
And it's just the whole thing scaled down.
That's impossible for me to wrap my head around.
They have spaceships, they have everything. It's just Star Wars again.
It's just Star Wars again, but on a much super micro scale.
Yeah, it's so small that it might as well just be Star Wars again. In fact, it's the current 7, 8, and 9 trilogy.
Oh my God.
Except that at the beginning, the crawl says this takes place in Luke's butt, by the way. This is nothing.
No.
This is nothing.
It's impossible to make a movie out of this. I don't know what he was thinking. Alright. So balancing the Force is, like, probably our best idea we have so far.
I guess so.
Because that's a thing that comes up a lot in these movies, is the notion that the Force needs to be balanced. It happens in the original trilogy, it happens again in the new trilogy. Powerful dark, the light will rise to meet it, blah, blah, blah.
Alright. So, first movie is, oh damn, we gotta balance the Force. Second movie is, oh damn, we totally screwed up. We did not balance the Force. Third movie is, oh look, we balanced the Force, right? Like, that's how it goes, right? That's a 3-act structure.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So the first movie is them realizing they need to balance the Force, but it takes place all before Anakin. So maybe that's what we do.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole thing takes place before Anakin.
It's a prequel.
The second movie is all the prequels. It's like all 3 movies. Because it's like, hey, we did it. And it's like, oh no, we messed up. And then, all right. So, episode 1 is prequel. Episode 2 is episode 1 through 3. And episode 3 is episode 4 through 6.
Perfect, nailed it. So we need a protagonist. We definitely need a protagonist.
Skywalker. William Skywalker.
William Skywalker.
But it's spelled with an H. William.
Yeah, William Skywalker.
They've all got names like that.
Yes.
Willis, William, Wilhelmina.
We have a whole bunch of, like, character analogs in here.
Yeah. And they balance the Force.
Done. Movie over. Dun, 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 dun.
The thing about this is that George Lucas is wrong, because you can't like make a movie with characters that have like their own, pardon the words here, their own will, and then go ahead and be like, well, actually, these guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
It denies them their agency, and then if you're trying to tell another story, like, you already know what those characters are doing up there.
Like,
you're showing how the sausage is made, and that's not fun.
I feel like redoing the old movies is out because of that, and I feel like doing a new movie, like, what's left to tie up?
Yeah.
Like, that could be told on a microscopic level. Like, what thing could be happening on a microscopic level that would affect everything?
Nothing. Like, that's the thing, because they're only inside a single person at a time.
Wait a minute.
Alright, you got something?
Wait a minute. I got something. It's like a bit of a Hail Mary here.
Alright, we need a Hail Mary at this point.
What if it takes place after all the other movies, after, 1 through 6, and now there is a midi-chlorian plague that is not killing Jedis, but is killing them of their Jedi abilities.
It's killing the midichlorians.
It's killing midichlorians.
All right.
So all of the Jedi are like, damn, my powers aren't working. That sucks. But like, all of the little dudes inside are dying off.
This is good. This is good. You actually, this Hail Mary is very good.
Because that's the only thing that would be interesting.
Yes, and that lets us have two protagonists. We could have a Jedi protagonist who's trying to find the cure. And then we have inside of them the midichlorians doing the same thing on a microscopic level.
In the end, Osmosis Jones. Mm-hmm. That's it.
So we have the micro, the macro.
Okay.
Parallel stories.
Oh, we're cooking here.
So like they're going planet to planet, and like that's important for our microscopic story.
Yeah,
because
like episode 2, that very fun plot when Obi-Wan Kenobi was doing that.
Oh yeah.
But we'll do a better job at that.
Yes.
Actually, no, George will do a better job at that.
Oh no. Well, this could be fun, because obviously that affects not just Jedi, it would be affecting Sith as well. So you have some tenuous alliances between Jedi and Sith.
Yeah.
Their powers barely work inside them. Like, you have these wills that are barely hanging on.
Yeah.
And they're doing their best to make Force powers happen.
And maybe it's because the Force got balanced. Maybe after Luke, let's say, or Vader, whatever, in episode 6, they balanced the Force.
I mean, at this point, like, this could even take place after the 9th movie, which we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, whenever it takes place, it's at long last the Force has been balanced, and now it's sort of like canceling itself out.
Yeah.
And it's dying off. I don't know in what universe, in what Star Wars universe this takes place, if it's like the current one or like the Legends or whatever, but whatever the child of Han and Leia is, whether it be Kylo Ren or it be Jaina and Jason Solo.
Oh boy.
Or
deep there.
I'm just saying, like, whatever universe it takes place in, maybe they're the ones trying to solve this mystery. Because it's sort of like, maybe the Wills way back saw this was going to happen. And they're like, we need to put in motion the things.
We could have like a nice little like flashback revealing that all the people that are important to the trilogy, all the trilogies, have in fact been part of like a long-standing Wills plan.
It's like maybe like the end times for Wills.
Yeah.
And
they prophesize end times.
They have a prophecy that they need to put in motion. They need to all right. So they need to create someone who has the skills to fix their problem.
Oh god.
And the only thing...
It's gonna be a matchmaking scenario? It's like them trying to pair up a Jedi and a Sith so they can have a super baby?
Well, I wasn't thinking of it that way. I mean, we could go that way, but what I'm saying is that, like, the Wills need someone to be that person, and if the Wills are, like, omniscient, then what they need to do is they go, okay, well, if all we could do is interact, we could get, like, this woman pregnant. Yeah. That's all we could do. So we need to find the right right situation to then create this, miraculous child that will then have another miraculous two children, and then one of them will have the person just in time to solve our issue. And then...
All right. So first movie, we find out about this plague.
I forgot it was a trilogy.
Yeah, right. Totally trilogy.
Yeah.
First movie, we find out about this Will's midichlorian plague, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
this takes place after 6? Or are we going back?
It could be either one. Doesn't matter. Like, this is a brand new character.
I mean, this could be a scroll. This could be the scroll,
Oh, yeah. The scroll could be explaining that, like, it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be like, oh, Jedi are losing their powers. No one knows why. Yeah.
And, like, from the Jedi collective, this person is on their way to, like, visiting ancient Jedi temples, trying to find out what's going on. Is there anything...
Talking to Force ghosts?
Talking to Force ghosts?
I think a lot of Force ghosts in this one.
No reason not to.
Force ghosts.
We got to do something to bring them in.
CG Alec Guinness is what I want.
We're already deviating from the Lucas system of it's entirely on a microscopic level, and that's because it's fucking impossible to do that.
You can't do that.
So, right off the bat, we have a new Jedi we're following. They're going, like, trying to figure out the situation, and we have this microscopic character trying to do it. They're talking about their prophecy, like the end of the Whills. They don't really care about the Jedi and the Sith and all that. Like, that's its own thing. But obviously, our character just thinks of this as, like, the death of the Force.
Right. Like, everything that they've learned is falling apart.
Yeah. And our character keeps on hearing about wills. And they assume it's just like, all right, so we have to exercise our will. Like, they take it very literally.
Sure.
And, like, maybe they buddy up with a Sith character along the way because they're not fighting right now. They're just common cause.
Right. Without the Force, it's really just a philosophy now.
Yeah, and that could be fun because, like, the Sith character is going to talk about, we've always been about our will. Like, the Sith is all about taking what you want. Like, it's exercising your will. And the Jedi are always about denying your will. It's your fault. It's the Jedi that are doing this to the Force.
But they both want the Force back.
They do, which is why we can have these arguments, but they don't, like, murder each other.
Right. They need to team up.
And, like, they keep on hearing about the wills. And at the end of this first movie, we have, like, this big reveal when our little Will character reaches out. They establish contact.
This is how you bring balance to the Force, okay? You take the Jedi, you take the Sith, you take away their powers, and you say, you don't get your powers back until you can agree. That's the thing. It's like, the Sith and Jedi, it's not balance in that, like, there's enough of one and enough of the other. There's only one...
It's a balance of ideologies.
Yeah, they become one. The Sith and Jedi join together, like... like the Sith are like, oh, I need to, I like my stuff, and I'm the best. And the Jedi are all like, oh, well, you need to deprive yourself of any emotion ever. Both philosophies, when taken to the extreme, are no good.
Yeah.
So the Force, the wills, they've been trying this whole time to balance the Force, and this time they're going to do it. They're going to get rid of the Force. Whether or not it's like on, like if they're the ones who caused it or not, or if like they're just caught up in the middle of it, they're just the ones.
I like them being caught up in the middle.
Yeah, because then that gives it more of like a story and not just. So yeah, they're caught up in the middle.
It's not like a weird revenge tale where a bunch of bugs are like, you think you're so cool.
But the way it all wraps up, the way George Lucas wraps all this up, is the end of Episode 6. There's no more Sith. There's no more Jedi. It's just like Force users.
Yeah.
And the galaxy is balanced. And it took the little guys who live inside all of us.
Yeah.
And that's how you wrap up the trilogy with Wills.
I like it. Mostly because it became a story.
Well,
like all of our other ideas so far.
I wouldn't say it's much of a story. It just answers the question, how do you wrap up a thing already wrapped up with stupid little guys? And I think that's how you do it. You finally do bring that balance, because we think like, oh, we brought balance to the Force. Like, no, not yet. We still got one more thing to do. There's still conflict. We need to get rid of the conflict, merge the two schools together, and like, flash forward to generations later, and Sith and Jedi are gone, and it's just like whatever this new thing's called. And I guess there's like gray Jedi, but
I was gonna say like, oh, there's the gray Jedi.
But I mean like,
so it's Jedi in the title.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, Will
Wheaton's.
Will Wheaton.
It's like, because you could have all kinds of things as obstacles. Like, I'm sure most villainous organizations in the world are like, oh yeah, sure, if there's no Jedi, we're the best.
Yeah. Maybe it's the Trade Federation.
It could be the Trade Federation.
They're back. Everyone's favorite.
If we really want to bog this movie down in the worst elements of the prequels,
I think we kind of have to
it.
do that, yeah.
I mean, it's George. He would almost 1,000,000% do that.
So, the Trade Federation's back. That way it rhymes.
That way it rhymes.
Gotta bring it back. And this time the Trade Federation's got that upper hand. And
they're trying to make sure the Force dies. That's their whole thing.
Yeah.
So that gives us an antagonist as our people are going off, because otherwise it's just people trying to do something that's just natural. It's a natural phenomenon.
Yeah, the Force is outlawed. Maybe, I don't know. That's a few more steps. Maybe maybe it becomes outlawed within the trilogy.
Yeah, like
maybe
the
second movie
is what we just described. Second movie opens up with like the Trade Federation has outlawed Force using.
Yeah. A few years later, things have gotten a little crazier.
Mm-hmm.
The Trade Federation has a lot more power, more political power. They're like a political party.
Yeah.
And now, like Force using is illegal. Meanwhile, our human protagonist is trying to solve this mystery with their new sidekick friend. Maybe they put inside some sort of like robot so that they can talk to him.
Or I could just use Force power. Like they could appear as like little Force ghosts.
Oh yeah, Force Ghost, perfect. Yeah.
I do like the Force Ghost idea.
Yeah, Force Ghost is good.
I'm gonna use that.
So Force ghosting,
and I do like this odd couple of like a Sith and a Jedi working together.
Yeah, I like
that works toward the theme. Like by the end, they're not going to be a Jedi and a Sith. It's just going to be two Force users.
Right. Which might actually turn out to be the actual Episode 9.
It very well
I guess
might be.
All right, this is kind of cool. We're kind of like we're pulling things from the new trilogy. We're pulling things from the prequel trilogy. We're making it rhyme. We're answering Georgie's questions. This is something, right?
It is so far. In the third movie, like again, first one we already talked about. Second one, Force is outlawed. They're being hunted by the Trade Federation. That way it rhymes. God damn it.
Yeah.
And now that they have like an established connection with the Wills, they're like trading information. So like they're starting to realize going to these planets isn't going to help. It has to be a meeting of ideology. So maybe they're going to hidden enclaves of Sith users and enclaves of Jedi.
And then like the Jedi go to like a Sith like secret temple and they're ambushed, and then at the end it's like the Sith steps in, like the Sith friend is like, no, we need this guy. We need to pool our powers because the very Force is being threatened.
At the very, very end, like they can go to the very first temple, and it's like, we're going to the first Sith temple. No, wait. This is the first Jedi temple.
Ooh.
It was the same thing.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that way it's super rhymes.
That's super rhymey. I like that.
Oh my god, we finally established 3 movies that have stories.
That's good because like it rhymes and it makes sense. Like that's good. We've done it. And then you have like the little cute little tiny Wills.
Yeah, which are definitely going to be adorable, so we can sell toys.
They have to be adorable. There have to be so many of them. You have to collect all of them.
Exactly.
You have to catch them all. And then at the end, the Trade Federation is defeated. The Force is back, and now it's balanced. And all of the Star Wars stop happening because everyone's happy.
Because all the stories have been told.
And all the stories have been told, and then the camera pans up.
And it reveals that there's 17 more movies in production.
Thank you for watching Screen to Screen. If you've got other ideas for George Lucas's wonderful microbiology trilogy, let us know in the comments.
I would desperately want to hear them because it took us so long to come up with this idea.
Yeah. And if you have any other ideas for Screen to Screen episodes, you let us know in the comments as well.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time on Screen to Screen.